I was part of the movement. What's funny is that we have a gap of almost 20 years, and I think Ailton grew up with the idea of Continuadores, which might have become more nostalgic and more romantic, and I have the real view of what it was. So I think it's nice that we're somewhere in the middle between fact and fiction, romance and reality.
So it's not necessarily us going and telling people what are our rights, but it's a political way of approaching our society and not necessarily the politicians, you know. So what we want to achieve with this is to be able to have everyone valuing our moral values, and to, you know, value music and value arts the same way as our former president did.
This project, in fact, would have never been possible if it wasn't for the French Institute in Maputo. It's almost like a creative incubator. We are very lucky that we have like a very good director of the French Institute that made like really, really great advancements to the music in general in Maputo and Mozambique. And we said, oh, okay, we want 2 weeks residency in this space. We need a guitar amp, a bass, drum, and we need this, we need lights and whatever, and he facilitated the whole thing.
Okay.
And we just created.
The first thing we did was just put all of the instruments on the floor, all of them, so many gadgets to use, and we started exchanging drafts of like ideas. And the first thing that we did, yes, it was related to sound. It was the music. The music was the first. So each day of the first week of residency was for the creation and composition of those same songs. So we created the songs, and then we started having ideas of how we could represent it visually. And as the compositions would also develop, you know, it's easier for us to work on the visuals when the audio is already it's already strong and powerful, so that the expression can be more visible, you know.
Yesterday, I don't know if you were in that conversation, asked like, they saw the both of us, and they said, you were there, maybe you weren't paying attention. Said, you're Continuadores, and this woman asked, so who's the talent? And I said,
who's the genius? Who's the genius, and who's the hard worker?
Who's the hard worker?
Yeah.
And I was like, definitely the genius. And then I added, no, she said, who's the genius?
Yeah.
And I said, and then she said, then who are you? And I said, I'm the hard worker. I'm the factory worker, like making the walls. We're kind of like having a dialogue, but he's always in the middle of everything. So everything is built around it. And I've always been lucky in projects to kind of not have to be myself ever. You'll probably be able to hear that there is a certain my influence, but I think what you're gonna be focused is his storytelling, his narrative, his voice. I think that's really what's gonna move you.
Definitely, yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. Since we were here, we've made the show somehow a bit more French, and I think we have a really nice surprise in the end for people. And I think it's just gonna really explain something that's might have been lost in translation before, and now it's a nice way to finish the whole story, the journey.
Yeah.
And we made it in so French people could understand.
And also, there's definitely an emotional connection that we feel with this place. It appears that during the slave trades, many slaves ended up here in this area. Many of the Mozambican slaves. So you see, you feel the influences from the Maloya sound. It's you feel the different, you feel the similarities between rhythms.
The food as well.
The food as well. So we are connected with this place, and we are connected by the ocean as well. It is a pleasure to be here, you know. Yeah.
I convinced a friend of mine to come to reunions this year, and I tell her every year, you must come to this place. She's from Maputo. And then she came this year. Before she spent the whole day, she calls me at 5 o'clock, and she just says, where has this place been my entire life? It's like being home. I've only got here, I've been here for 12 hours. I feel like I'm home.
It feels like paradise.
Todos filhos, filhos do mar, somos todos filhos, filhos do mar.